It's a place to chill out, do photo mode, play games, role play, and it's not the hard mission. So I get it. Not every game's open world, but I think every game needs like a chill out social space. And more games are doing this. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. It's the Andy B Show. It's another episode, and it's me. It's you. We're locked in. And there's a lot to cover this week. It's, I don't know if you know this, but the gaming news has not stopped. E3, the spirit thereof, continues. We've got Summer Games Fest just ended. We've got the Xbox Showcase that we didn't even talk about in the last episode of the show because it hadn't happened when I recorded it. The Switch 2 launch since we last talked, and some movie news. So it's video games. Like, I hope you're ready. And a little bit of movie talk, maybe. Let's plug in. Andy B Show. Let's get rolling. So glad you're here. Oh, before we jump in, briefly, 10 seconds. I am giving away the free Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack that came with my Switch 2. I bought it at Costco, and the thing about Costco is they always add extra stuff. And in this case, thanks Nintendo, it doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to. You get this little card with a unscratched off number. Here, I said 10 seconds, but now I'm telling this Costco story. They give you a year, an unlimited year, an individual membership for 12 months to Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. And if you're somebody who just got a Switch 2, the expansion pack, man, they are dangling the meat out there for you, right? They're like, oh boy, if you want to play Breath of the Wild again, or like me, if you never finished it, because it's huge, it's going to look way better and perform way better with the paid $10 upgrade. And same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. And same thing with a ton of other games. They're like, we're going to give you a bunch of expansion pack stuff free. But they also added in on the expansion pack, they added in GameCube games for the first time. I miss my GameCube in a way, but look, it's hard to hook up to a modern television nowadays. I guess you could get an adapter, but yeah, I'm not hooking my GameCube up anymore. I don't want to tell you what I am doing with it, but I'm not hooking it up to the television anymore. And they have Soul Calibur 2, the one with Zelda and Link. Maybe Zelda is in it, but definitely Link. They added Link as a character. I remember playing Soul Calibur 2 back on the Xbox, the original Xbox, because they had a special character in there. And it eludes me, but the one on the GameCube and PlayStation 2 were different. And the one on the GameCube was Link. Link was in Soul Calibur 2. Don't know why I can't remember who was in there. I know they didn't put Master Chief in Soul Calibur 2. Like I kind of have to go look. Like I'm gonna let's go look. Who were the main characters? Who were the extra characters in Soul Calibur 2? I have to look. Okay. You got Heihachi on the PlayStation 2 version. Makes a lot of sense. And then Spawn on the Xbox, which is pretty cool, but it's no Link from The Legend of Zelda. So yeah, in the Nintendo Switch Online, they've got GameCube games, Soul Calibur 2, The Wind Waker, the old cel-shaded one that some people they judged too harshly, I think, because everybody wanted the rough and tumble, super realistic Zelda game, but what they got was a way better game, and they didn't realize that the cel-shaded Wind Waker game was the way to go. In retrospect, it seems so obvious. And there's a third game on there. I think it is the GameCube version of F-Zero. So anyway, you can only get those games and the Game Boy Advance games, including the original WarioWare, if you have the expansion pack. So I said 10 seconds. It's turned into 4 minutes because we're getting ahead of ourselves into a little bit of Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch Online news, but I'm giving it away because I can't use it. The way that Nintendo makes it work is you have, if you're on a family membership, and I am, then this is useless to me, except as a giveaway for you fans of the NDB show. You can't stack it on. It's not like Xbox. If you had Xbox, Game Pass membership and you bought another month, it would just stack on. If you had a family membership and you bought an individual membership for a year, it would just stack on. There was this time where they had so many cards out there for the Microsoft subscriptions that it was like, we don't really know, but somebody who's an actuary can figure out what each of these is worth in real dollars, Microsoft Moonbox, real dollars, and convert it. So if you were somebody who was sitting around on like a stack of Xbox Live Gold 1-year subscriptions that that fell off of a truck from cdkeys.com, then you could go and apply all of those to your Xbox Game Pass subscription at some conversion rate. So they would do the currency conversion for you. Nintendo's like, hey, take it or leave it, dude. You're not an individual member of Nintendo Switch Online, then you can't use this. So I was like, what better way to promote the show and be celebrating not only the launch of the Andy B show, but also the launch of the Switch 2, and to give it away. So if you would like to enter to win, go to the Patreon. It's patreon.com/the Andy B show. TheAndyBee. If you're watching this, then you know how it's spelled. The Andy B show. And just become a free member. All you have to do is join. You'll get news and information about new podcast drops. Some posts from me, some behind the scenes stuff is there. If you want to pay and support the show, you can, but just joining is great. And it helps me know that, that you're out there, and I'm going to give it away to one of the members, for free, when the 5th episode of the show launches, which is next week. So the odds are really good that you can win this, prize if you're interested. Not required though. Just happy to hang out with you and just give something away to the fam out there. So, yeah, boy, there's still a lot going on. There's a lot going on. We have to talk about we get to talk about the Xbox showcase. We don't have to. The first thing that we should probably talk about that's been really all over the place, all over not only the gaming news, but is this new ROG Ally. Now, this is not it. Where's the actual ROG Ally? Unbelievable that, let me see. Let's go to the republicofgamers.com website and take a look. There it is. I can't believe it wasn't the first thing on Google that showed up. So there it is. They introduced this at the middle of the Xbox showcase last week, and they said, there's our handheld. We did it, everybody. We don't know how much it costs or when it's available, but there it is. Pretty big deal. And while they were showing it, they showed Silksong, the sequel to Hollow Knight, playing on it, which led me to believe that during the show they were going to go, and by the way, here's a little Silksong for you, which is a highly anticipated game for people that really like bugs in their platforming. But here it was. It's like, is this the Steam Deck? They said no, but it runs Steam, so you can run all your Steam games on it. Cool. Is it an Xbox? They said this is an Xbox. But as it turns out, that's marketing. It will not run Xbox console native games. It will run the Windows Store version of Xbox games. So it's basically a PC, is what it is. It's another ROG Ally that has Xbox branding. You can see an Xbox button, the Xbox button layouts and style. And effectively, it's a computer. It's a handheld computer. We don't know how much it's going to cost. There's 2 versions of it. 120 hertz refresh rate. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not the only handheld that got announced or came out in the last week, but this is the one they're pitching, they're talking about. So, like, what's similar to this one? That ROG, the Republic of Gamers. What's similar to it, right? I don't know. And what does it cost? People are like, it's going to be like $800, $1,000. Okay. Here's one that's ROG Ally X, sure. Here you go. This one looks like it's real. Can I buy this one? Where to buy? I live in America. Okay, there's Best Buy. People buy things from Best Buy. Not me. Story for another day. But people buy things at Best Buy. I bought things at Best Buy before. Sold things at Best Buy before, but I retained my dignity. However, thanks Best Buy, the price isn't popping up. The thing you want to know, you can't. They have 3 nearby me, but you're not going to get to know the price. Sorry. Like the $1,000. So there's folks talking about the Switch out there this week and kind of ragging on it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, there's a lot of folks out there going like, look, it's not as good as the Steam Deck. It can't run PC. It just focused on Nintendo and it costs $450, $500 if you want Mario Kart. But here it is, $1,000 from something that is close to probably what it looks like for the ROG Ally, the new Xbox handheld. And they have 2. So one of them's probably a little less than 1,000. I bet one's going to be more than 1,000. But it can do more. It can run Steam games. That's a big deal. It's no small thing. You know, looks good, but it's not going to run native Xbox games. It's only going to run the games that are play anywhere, where it's going to be the same game on a PC that it is on an Xbox, that it is on streaming online. And that's fine, actually. But it's not like you bought a Nintendo Switch where it's the same game everywhere and it's totally portable. It's a little different. It's buying a PC, which actually makes it more palatable to me. So that's not a bad thing to me. Like one of the things about the Switch that's really incredible is that we'll get into the Switch, is that it's a full machine, fully thought out, kind of does everything that it's supposed to do for a Nintendo machine, but it doesn't do everything like, we talked last week about all these services. Game Pass is like, man, I could just subscribe and then all these Xbox and Microsoft Studio games are right there, but I can only play it on their hardware. Well, the more games they make that are play anywhere, the more likely you can take them and play them anywhere. Sounds wild. They probably named it that way on purpose. But I don't have a PC right now that can run those games, so I can stream them from the cloud from my web browser. Pretty sweet. And play them on my PC, my Mac computer. Saving up. Give me a break. Subscribe to the show, patreon.com, if you want me to get a PC faster. Support the show. Yeah, there's no way for me to put that experience on a PlayStation yet. They have other subscription services from big publishers out there like Ubisoft. You could be an Ubisoft or an EA member on PlayStation consoles and play the games that are in those game catalogs. So it's like a separate subscription that you can add on or have. I don't know if you can have it separately from your PlayStation subscription, but it is separate. Like they throw in some of those things. I think you get some of those benefits with PlayStation Plus, but it's a little murky. That's the thing. There's a lot. And there's one more, which is going to be the Xbox Game Pass. And they may not be able to get it on PlayStation until they call it something different. It might have to be like the Microsoft publisher subscription or something like that, so that it's not so obviously competition to the PlayStation Store. You'd be like, oh, it's just another publisher. Oh, it's like Ubisoft. That's like a EA. And in a way it is. We're seeing Microsoft is the biggest, if not one of the biggest, but probably the biggest game publisher. Where are all the games at? We're going to talk about them in a second. They did announce some cool looking games at the show. But why wouldn't they just have that subscription on PlayStation? Why can't I access it there, download the games there? Why do I have to pay for them separately if they offer the subscription? And it's competition, right? As long as they're making hardware, it is competition for PlayStation hardware. So the day they stop might be the day that you can play Xbox Game Pass games with a Game Pass subscription on your PlayStation. In the meantime, you could do it on this new or old ROG Ally, but the new ROG Ally X that's coming out. You'll be able to play it there, but you can't do it on the Switch. Can't do it on the Switch. But Call of Duty's supposed to be on the Switch for like the next 10 years, right? Didn't they promise that as part of the Microsoft settlement with the UK, the merger agreement where they were going to buy Activision? So, it's when can I pay $1,000 a month for all these subscriptions and play 20 hours of games? Like, what are we doing? Just buy the games. Typically, I'm like, just buy the games. But if you want to sample a lot, and around here in the Andy B show, we do sample some games. You know that if you are, if you're my age or younger, but also have small kids and a career, you don't have all day to play games. And so sampling is a lot of times what you'll do. It's like, oh, that's interesting. So the subscriptions are great to sample. I want to try that one out. I'll play a little bit of that, play a couple minutes of this. And then every once in a while, I'll lock in on one, right? And I'm like, this one I'm beating. This one I'm locked in on. You can't get me off this one till the end, right? So there will be games that I'll lock in on, but I'm not the kind of gamer, and if you're in the sound of my voice, you may or may not be, that platinum trophies, 1,000 gamer score, 100% finishes a ton of games. Every once in a while, that'll happen. But usually it's sampling. So the subscriptions are really great for sampling things, because if you want to sample games that don't have demos, sometimes they do, and there's a lot of games coming out all the time, it's very difficult to do it unless you're just really rich, or just, don't need to save for your kid's college fund while you're still gaming. As an elder millennial, let me just tell you something. It is, no matter how much money I have or haven't made at any point in my life, it's never been easy to drop money on games. It's a hobby, so you have to justify it. Let's talk about the games. The games. The big one they showed for me that I think was so in depth, I'm really not sure how to even talk about it here, was Clockwork Revolution. Now, Clockwork Revolution is, I think it's BioShock. I think it's BioShock with some more RPG elements. What is BioShock with RPG elements? BioShock already had some RPG elements. You would unlock and, I can't watch this trailer while I'm talking about it because it actually is like really weird. It's this crazy steampunk looking game that has all these wild characters and dialogue. But what they'll show you in the trailer is dialogue choices with skill points. So it's kind of like, is this a Skyrim? Is this a Fallout? Is this a BioShock steampunk Fallout game? And the answer is like kind of maybe sort of. It's got a little bit of everything. So this is a game that is like systems on systems on systems. And the trailer that they showed, which you can find out there on YouTube, also shows gun crafting. Is this Modern Warfare? Is this Call of Duty? Gun crafting? It shows gun crafting. It shows time travel, gun crafting, dialogue combat. What is this game? And can it possibly ship? So they didn't give a date for it, or maybe they did, but it wasn't this year. It's not coming soon. Clockwork Revolution. If you like BioShock, and I liked the first BioShock, well, yeah, the first, I was thinking System Shock, which I never really got through, but I loved the first BioShock, played a little bit of the second, and then loved BioShock Infinite. Incredible storytelling, action, gameplay, everything else. For me, that was peak Xbox 360 gaming. Like, you couldn't get too much better than the first BioShock when it released. It's a little bit different today, but those games just had a style about them. Like all of the vending machines would sing to you in different ways that made a lot of sense within the world. The dialogue was there, all the propaganda that was all over the walls, and pushed storytelling in games in ways that we hadn't really seen. And if you go play them today, knowing everything that we know now about storytelling in games, you might go like, "Oh, that's cute." It's kind of like watching like an old movie. You're like, "Oh, I see Godfather. Got it. Like that was really good." But can we get to some modern movie making, right? So, but the BioShocks aren't that old, but if you know all the twists and turns and tricks, you might go, I like the art style, but like the story doesn't surprise me. It's like, well, it blew everybody's brain, like everyone's mind when the first BioShock came around, and especially BioShock Infinite. It was no joke. So Clockwork Revolution, I don't know, but I'm interested. The other one that came up, which is less for me and more for my wife, Mrs. B, is they announced Age of Mythology Retold. So they've been reproducing and remaking Age of Empires, Age of Empires 2 on the Xbox and on the PC and Games Anywhere. But the one that my wife really got into decades ago was Age of Mythology, and they are remaking it in a way that looks really, really good. She's like, I don't want to play that on a console. I was like, I think you can play it on Xbox Games Anywhere. So they look like they're kind of redoing, maybe not just the graphics, but maybe retelling, re-recording stories and making it a lot more dynamic. So we'll see. It could just be like standard RTS fare, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Age of Mythology. Two more games to talk about from the Xbox showcase. The other one, the next one I'd like to discuss, is from a developer whose game is out there called Spiritfarer. And I didn't realize that this was going to be from the Spiritfarer developers. This is called At Fate's End. And as I watched the trailer announcement, I was like, okay, I guess I have to go give Spiritfarer another shot. I downloaded it twice. This is the problem with it's the problem again with the game subscriptions. I downloaded it once when it was free on Xbox Game Pass. Well, I stopped subscribing to Xbox Game Pass. I'm currently a PlayStation Online member, PlayStation Network member, and so I downloaded it on their subscription service. But now it's not available on either one. I didn't check the Xbox one. And you have to pay to buy Spiritfarer right now. So I was like, but I think I'm going to pay the money to go play it, because what I'm seeing from this new, I don't think related to Spiritfarer game, At Fate's End, looked at first like, I'm like, what am I watching? Like an anime? Like, what show is this? Or what are we dueling? Swords, like amazing animated art style, but there's cards, and I love cards. I love deck building. Is this a deck building game? Wait, no, it looks like an action game. They're in these crazy like anime fights, and then at some point in the middle, they're doing dialogue fighting. So it's the second game today where they're selecting dialogue to do the fights, and dialogue-based fights, man. Like, I'm in. Like, let's go. So they're doing like this big storytelling, but also action, but also deck building, but also stylized, and At Fate's End. Like, I think I'm day oneing this game. Like, I don't think I'm gonna wait like I did on Spiritfarer. So I'm gonna give Spiritfarer another shot. Because I was like, oh, it looks like a cute, like cozy game about death, which I think is their title. I think it's their subtitle, like a cozy game about a cozy management simulator about dying, where you're supposed to like bring people onto your boat, shepherd them off to the afterworld or whatever, and have a lot of little conversations along the way. Sounds good. One more game before I take a little break here and we come back, which is that the Xbox Showcase, this will wrap up the showcase talk, they showed The Outer Worlds 2, which is the new Obsidian game. And if you played the first Outer Worlds, it was kind of like Fallout New Vegas, which that developer also made. And it's an RPG. There's a lot of combat. You can level up your characters in like really weird ways. But it's about these little spacefarer people. What I didn't realize about the Outer Worlds is they had kind of designed it to where the game's about being out on a colony, and every colony is going to be different. So they can just kind of like reboot and go. Like, oh, things work different here now. And so they've set up a good story structure to where I don't think you have to care about the first game at all. If you think the second one's interesting. So they did themselves a favor. You just start. And this one also seems very weird. So they did like 45 minutes, 30 minutes after the Xbox showcase with a special showcase slot for this. Same place they put Black Ops 6 last year, right after the showcase, and same place they put Starfield right after that showcase. So they're kind of giving it their prime spot, going like, yeah, we're going to show you a bunch of cool stuff, but stick around because this is going to blow your mind. I think it kind of sold me as interesting enough to look at. Maybe I buy a month of Game Pass when it comes out and check it out. You can get the original one for like pennies frequently, with all of the expansion packs and stuff. But they looks like they're going to make a pretty serious game, a lot of combat to it, but also a lot of dialogue, a lot of kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. These, corporations bad. Corporations bad, and sometimes that's true. But of course, they take it to the extreme here, where all of the different factions are run by different corporations, and you're going to make allies of them, and you know. It looks pretty good. As one of those games, but a new version, it looks really good. So, yeah, I thought this year the Xbox Game Showcase did better than they had in prior years. I think Xbox is on a bit of a run. We'll see how long it stays up. The reason most people stop subscribing at $20 a month, if they do, if they're like me, to the Xbox Game Pass is because there is not enough there to keep you excited. And if they get a hit, just buy it. You just buy the subscription. There's no reason to subscribe at $240 a year and only play a couple games. Just buy those games, but buy them on sale and own them. And then also you can own them on a better console. If you're a console gamer, PlayStation 5, when they bring the Indiana Jones over to the PS5 Pro, it's better. It runs better, looks better. It's like, why wouldn't you just wait and buy them, especially if it's not a multiplayer game? Now, when you get to Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, they announced. 7? They showed a new Black Ops. I'm way behind on my Black Ops play. I don't know. It's fine. Black Ops 2 and 3 was enough. But yeah, I think it was a good show, a good showing from them. They're getting some weird flack about the ROG Ally, but I don't think it's a problem. We're going to talk about the Switch next. And I think the Switch is so good and Steam is so vast as far as the selection because Xbox doesn't have enough. As good as the game selections are, it's not enough for the handheld. Now, you might say there's not enough on Nintendo. But it's kind of a unique, like it's for kids and families, and they've got the Nintendo games and Picross. So it kind of is enough. But if you were going to spend $1,000, like you needed to play way more than just like the 5 good Xbox games that might come out in a year, if you're lucky. Now, they've been on a run. They've been on a tear releasing like high quality games this year, enough to where I plugged in my Xbox. I plugged it back into the wall. I updated it. I relogged in. I got it all ready for them to shadow drop something cool to make me buy it or make me pay $20 to subscribe to Game Pass for a month or two. And they shadow dropped basically nothing. They did announce like, hey, Final Fantasy 16 is now available today. So I guess that was the shadow drop. But as a multi-platform gamer, I already have it on the PlayStation and it runs better on PlayStation 5. Bam, there it is again. So I'm glad that the Xbox only folks can play Final Fantasy 16 because it's good. It's real good. So great show from Microsoft. I give it like a B plus. If people were asking, I'd say a B plus. It's pretty good. Let's come back in just a minute, and we're going to talk about the Switch 2 experience. See you soon. The Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Welcome to the Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I got my hands on a Switch 2 last week. Picked one up right at the local Costco. Remember, if you'd like to enter to win the free 1-year Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack individual membership, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/TheAndyB Show and become a free member. I'm giving it away because it came with the Costco and I can't use it. You can see it here if you're watching me live on YouTube or in the video version on Spotify. But go join the Patreon, giving it away. You have really good odds to win because this show is still pretty new. So, with a Red Bull in my hand, sugar-free, let's talk about the welcome tour from the Nintendo Switch 2 entertainment system. The welcome tour, the subject of much debate, is a $10 game that you can pay Nintendo to have them give it to you. People say it should be free. I paid $10 for this because I had to know. I had to know, one, is this just corporate training? Is this a group of quizzes that you can just take a look at and have a good time with, and then get a little stamp badge and go, you took it all. You took the training and you got all the points right. It kind of looks like that. You walk around a big virtual, like your little tiny person, and you walk around the Nintendo Switch 2 and all of its accessories. And you do, before you move on to the next area, have to find all the stamps, answer all the quizzes, go through all the information, and pass your Nintendo Switch 2 left Joy-Con certification to move on. It kind of is corporate training for the Nintendo Switch 2. They figured we built it anyway for all the Nintendo Switch employees, Nintendo employees. We might as well make it available to everyone. And somebody said, what if we charge for that? What if we asked them for the privilege, the customer, $10 to play, to take our training? It is kind of that. What else is it though? Because it's not only that. It is also a series of really fun mini games. And my kids, who were 7 and 10 years old, both girls, have played the heck out of these mini games. If it is $1 per entertainment hour that you care about in life, and we're all there sometimes, it's worth it if you have kids, because they're going to play the heck out of it. Also, as a showcase, because you picked up the Switch, you carried it around. I'm lucky enough to still have both parents that are alive and love me. And I took it over to their house. I was like, look at the new thing I bought. Just like when I was a kid and you guys bought me my first Nintendo entertainment system. I brought it over to show them. And what am I going to show them? Hey, let me show you Breath of the Wild. And we're going to climb this tower and some weird choo-choo jelly dude is going to attack me. Like, okay. But if you can walk them around and show them a bunch of little mini games that show how HD Rumble 2 works and how the gyroscopes work and how the microphone works, and let them play all these mini games, it's a great little introduction to like what the heck it is. And they both at the end of playing it for just a couple minutes were like, should we get one of those? Like, do you think it would be good for us to have one? And maybe, I think games are for everybody. And there's enough games that they're out there of every type not everything is, Dark Souls and Grimdark and Lies of P. And though I watched a Lies of P stream on YouTube from Dub-Easy the other night, not every game is this hard, nasty, rough, games out there. And that's the beauty of the Nintendo system, despite the fact that you can buy Cyberpunk 2077 on that machine and play it. And I might buy it because that game has cross progression. If there's any game developers in the sound of my voice, publishers, and you don't have cross progression in your game, you risk me not buying another copy. If you do have cross progression, I'm probably going to buy the copy that works on the best machine I have for performance, which is going to be the PS5 Pro right now. Or if you make it Mac compatible for like the 2.3% of gamers that have, Macs. I'm going to buy it there because when I'm sitting down and having the ultimate experience, that's what I want. But if it's cross progression, I'm going to buy it again on the Switch. Because every game is a long game and I play in little pockets. I sample, I dabble. Games need cross progression if they're big. Cyberpunk's big. But not every game has to be this big, rough, and tumble game. Like sometimes just games that are cute and charming and fun and interesting and family oriented get people of all ages going in. It's the Wii effect. with Wii Bowling and Wii Sports. The Wii Sports effect from back in the day where it completely overtook long-term care facilities across the world because people could interact with these cute little machines, play their bowling, play their tennis. They could do it from their chair if they needed to, and they were having a great time. And the number one thing that my parents asked for is like, oh, is this going to have a new balance board? Remember the Wii balance board with Wii Fit, Wii Sports? I don't think Wii Sports had the balance board, but Wii Fit did. And it had all these sports games in it. You get on the balance board, you kind of move around. It's great for building balance. Where is it? Like there's Wii Sports now, which I haven't tested yet on my Switch 2, but I have a copy of that. And that's there. But the balance board was a big deal. And Nintendo actually did a lot of people favors putting the balance board out there. I don't know how many copies I have to know. How many copies of Wii Fit sold? 22 million? I mean, that's a game with like a $50 peripheral. It's like a $100 game, right? And Wii Fit Plus sold 21 million. So we're like 43, 44 million units sold between Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus. They all came with that balance board, and yet they don't make it anymore. They didn't make it for the original Switch. Here we are on Switch 2, no announcement of that. I would buy another Wii Fit made for the Switch 2 in a second. I'd pre-order that thing. The kids love it. Elderly love it. Everyone loves it. What are we doing, Nintendo? Call me. They don't have balance board games in the Welcome Tour, but they have enough mini games that it is worth it. I would pay $10 for this, knowing what I know now, and I paid $10 for it, believing it was just corporate training. It was worth it. A quick word about Mario Kart World, the only full-priced, unique Switch exclusive launch game that's first party. It's enough qualifiers. That launched on the Switch 2 is Mario Kart World. It came packed in with my copy from Costco, along with a 12-month individual membership to Nintendo Switch Online, plus expansion pack, which you can get for free. I'm giving it away. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/TheNDB show to enter. Just join. And I'm giving it away when the next episode of this show launches. So about a week, depending on when you listen to this. Mario Kart World packed in. It is the pack-in game. You can't think of a better pack-in game since Astrobot, I guess. Astrobot was probably the last big pack-in game that was good and modern. And you might say, well, it's not a pack-in game. They made a bundle. It's like, okay, fine. But when was the last console that came with any game? They stopped coming with games. Xbox 360 didn't have a Halo bundle. Maybe the original Xbox had a first party, first SKU launch bundle. You know, you go back to the 8 and 16-bit era, it was always that way, right? You had Mario Kart and Duck Hunt that came with the NES. You had Super Mario World that came with the SNES, didn't it? You definitely had Sonic the Hedgehog that came with the Genesis. At some point, we stopped doing packing games because they were like, oh, these idiot gamers, they're going to buy a game anyway. Why would we pack one in? And the reason you pack one in, and you could charge more for the pack in, but you do it as a first party SKU, launch SKU. That is a stock keeping unit for those of you that aren't familiar. You do it as a launch SKU so that everybody has the same experience. And ideally, you only do it that way because it creates a gaming culture shift. If everybody that buys a Nintendo Switch, and it won't be everybody because they sold it without it as well, but if almost everybody that buys a Nintendo Switch plays Mario Kart World, then Nintendo has an opportunity to influence an entire new generation of gamers because they will absolutely play it. Now you might say, well, they're going to buy it anyway. Okay, charge more, right? And they did. They charged 50 more, not 80, for Mario Kart World. But now they have the opportunity to introduce all their characters. They can update this game over time to talk about any other events, any new characters come out for Splatoon. We'll talk about Splatoon Raiders in a bit. It has the opportunity to influence gaming for another decade or more. all at the cost of packing it in. So you got to do it right, but I'm glad they had a pack-in version, and it's good. I never played as much Mario Kart 8 as they made expansions for. They made way more expansions that I was ever going to play. But we're playing this new one, free roam. Every game that is tied to like a linear structure needs a free roam game, I think, like a free roam mode. Just some place to go chill out. If it is a high intensity game, you need a chill out zone. Destiny and Destiny 2 are the best examples of this in the last 10 years. The game, when you're out shooting, rootin' tootin' and shooting, is all action. You're pushing forward. You've got crazy things happening. The story's going on. You got attacks from, all sides. You're trying to find things. Like there's stuff out there in the missions. But then they have a layer that's a little bit below that, which is kind of open exploration. But not every game's going to be open world. So, but then they have a layer below that, which is the tower. And you take your character into third person view. So you're chilling out because you're not in first person anymore, focused on shooting things. You're in third person, you're chilled out. You just go talk to characters, you do little dances, you get to show off all of your accoutrement that you've picked up. And it's a social space. It's a place to chill out, do photo mode, play games, role play, and it's not the hard mission. So I get it. Not every game's open world, but I think every game needs like a chill out social space. And more games are doing this. And some of them are very expensively doing it. They're doing a big budget. Destiny, obviously, big budget game. But even in indie games, I just bought a game that we're going to talk about in a few minutes that is a puzzle game that has no need to have like a social space where you chill out. But it's got one. And it is a cool little place to go chill out. Every game needs it. In Cyberpunk 2077, you got V's apartment. You can always go hang out at the apartment. Now, mind you, it's an open world game. I get it. But every game could have a little chill out spot somewhere, and you need it to sustain this flow. It can't just be on all the time. So Mario Kart World, at any point when you're done doing these 50cc, 100cc, 150cc, these increasingly difficult Grand Prix races online, which I haven't touched yet, you just hit one button and you're in free roam. Boop, free roam. You're just hanging out. Go at your speed. Go explore a little bit. They have stuff out there, challenges for you to do, things for you to unlock. Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that I think that doing a pack-in game that has some key ideas done really, really well can influence an entire generation of games. Not just gamers, but games. The idea that at any point, kind of no matter where you're at in any menu, anytime you're not in the hard part of the game, you just hit the button and you're in chill out mode. You're in like hangout mode. Again, I get it. It's an open world, but it's not the only game that does this. So let's jump to the one I'm talking about that does do it. Mario Kart World, great. Yeah, play it. I had to figure out the very first game I downloaded on my Nintendo Switch 2 was Picross, because I'm the #1 Picross influencer on Threads. You can follow me there at andrew.m.bee, andrew.m.b on Threads. And the #1 Picross influencer, as far as I know, prove me wrong. I haven't seen anybody that talks about it as much as I do, and I even talk about it on this show. So I downloaded my game in progress for Sega Genesis and Master System Picross. That's a version of their Picross series by Juniper. And it looks good. It plays fine. It's the same game. It's just on my Switch too. But it was the first, I'll get off work. I'll go sit down on the couch, hang out with the kids, pop open Picross, man. Let's play a Picross puzzle together. Especially the new Picross games from Juniper are all multiplayer. So you can have 4 people in there like helping you with the puzzle, which sounds bad if everybody's like jacking with your puzzle. But it only takes a little while before people kind of go, oh, that's how the puzzles work. And then now you're building it together, and there's not much cooler. So Picross looks really good on it. It looks really good on it. But then I found last night on Steam, because I was trying to figure out how to stream on YouTube vertically. I was like, oh, vertical game streaming. That sounds cool. And I was just testing it out. I downloaded a new plugin for OBS. And I was like, what would be a cool, like, chill out game? Do they have Picross somewhere else? Is Picross available out of the Switch somewhere else besides Nintendo? And it turns out that there is. You can play a number of games, and how they get around it is they call them nonograms. I don't actually know if that's an official term. Nonograms. So I recorded this little video of me playing this game called Squeakross, because it's like mouse themed. You make a little mouse, and your mouse has a house, and it kind of looks like an Animal Crossing house. And then you do the nonograms, because I think Picross must be copyrighted. And but it's the same. It's the same puzzle. So they call them nonograms. And so now I'm sitting there playing on Steam, recording vertically, which is cool. I'm getting used to that. We'll see if I do it on YouTube. I might do some vertical streaming. I had to apply on YouTube to get my I haven't streamed yet on YouTube. So I had to apply to get approval. And they have a 24-hour waiting period on YouTube. Like I'm trying to buy a firearm or something before you can go stream. Like if you click, I'd like to go stream live on YouTube. They're like, slow down, chill out, come back another day. We don't think you're ready. Maybe you should let these emotions die down. Maybe you should think about it a little bit before you show up on YouTube and start streaming vertically, especially. Psychopath. But when I'm talking about Mario Kart World and how at any moment you can just have this second chill out space that isn't the main game, this game does it. Every time you're in between puzzles, and I don't show it in the video that I posted, but I'm going to stream it. I'm going to stream this soon. You get out of the puzzle, and it's like, hey, you unlocked something. You unlocked this bookshelf with books for the mouse. Are the mice reading the books? Is that a good idea? You can go place these items around your house. Bookshelf, a box, thank you, a lamp. You can dress up your little mouse. I don't know how much it costs them to do that part of it versus just making the nonograms. I assume the nonograms are far less expensive to try and figure out and make. But they made these 3D objects, and at any point, you just go place them in the house. And then you can play with your little mouse, run them around the house. Squeakross, man. I'm going to be streaming some Squeakross soon, I think. But it has this non-main game chill out area. And I'm like, man, this is the way now. I try and think of any game that I want to play, and I go, does it have the chill out zone? Is there a button I can hit and then we're chilling out? Open world games get the middle version of this by default. You think about like Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon the Forbidden West. You're out there with Aloy, and at any point that you're not in combat, you can just chill out and look at nature. There's nothing forcing you to the next area. There's things that draw you in, little icons on the map or quests that you know are out there or things that you see. Zelda Breath of the Wild, same way. It's like, nothing's forcing me to go to the next zone. I can just kind of hang out here and chill. But in games that are mission-based, I think you need a chill out zone. And so either you have to build one because it's not open world and you can't get it yourself. So Destiny, like I said, Destiny did all three. Missions, focused, driven, action, things are happening. Then they had the open world area, which they were always going to have because it's an open world game. But then they said there's a separate chill out space called the tower. I don't think they ever took it far enough. You could never you just hung out in the tower. It didn't seem like you really customize it to your liking. At least in all the expansions that I ended up playing. Maybe I missed one. Yeah. Yeah. What else about the Switch 2? They announced a new game, Splatoon Raiders, like a knockoff from Splatoon and an update to Splatoon 3 to make it run even better. I think everything's running better on the Switch. You go play any old game with no updates and it runs better on the Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles X was amazing on the Switch, but still, it's a little framey. 30 frames per second. It would have some dips and it wasn't perfectly smooth. I just watched a video last night. They're like, oh, it's better. So I'm going to go play it and see how it feels on the Switch too. But this doesn't have like a 60 FPS expansion. They're probably going to shadow drop that update or make you pay for the expansion pack or something to get it. And we'll pay. Xenoblade Chronicles X fans are going to pay one way or the other. One way or the other. But everything runs better there. So Splatoon 3 runs better. I never played Splatoon 3, but might pick up a copy. Mario Party Jamboree, supposed to play better there. A little framey. Now they are doing an expansion pack version, and it's not going to be free with the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. You're going to have to pay for it, but it's going to have a lot of new content. Fine. I think it's cool. These games need updates, and it's so great that they seemingly aren't just locked to the old performance. They just run better, and it's giving new life to a lot of old games. So Switch 2 experience, super cool. The only downside I had for my Switch 2 experience was the tech setup. Like, I've got TV mounted on the wall, HDMI cable run through the wall, and it comes out and hits this switch, not a Nintendo Switch, but a video switch. So I can have the PlayStation, Xbox, Apple TV, and Nintendo Switch plugged into a 4-port video switcher, HDMI switcher, and then out to the TV with one cable. And it automates like, hey, depending on which item is turned on, it'll switch to it, right? If you turn 2 items on, if you put on the Switch and the PlayStation, depends on what order they're plugged into the video switcher. But it's enough to where you almost never have to touch it, right? If the correct video source is turned on, powered on, then that's what shows up on the screen. It would not work with the Switch 2. And I was like, okay, let me take a look at this video switch I got off Amazon for like $40. And it's a 4K 60 frames per second HDR compatible video switcher, and it's worked fine with the PlayStation 5. But the new Switch goes up to 120 FPS, it says, and it's variable refresh rate. And I was like, my TV is variable refresh rate. My Switch is variable. I don't know what this video switcher is. So you could turn that off. I went to the video settings on the Switch. I turned off variable refresh rate. I tried everything, actually. I tried HDR, tried 120 hertz off. It never would work through this Switch. If I plugged it in directly to the TV, took the video out from the wall from the video switcher and plugged it into the Switch 2 dock, works great. So I'm going to have to run another HDMI cable through there or buy a new switcher, one of the two, for some reason. So like the Switch 2, so advanced, and my 7-month-old video switcher it won't repeat it. Won't repeat the signal. Works with everything else. It does not work with the Switch 2 dock. So that was kind of the only weird negative. We chose to keep the original Switch around. My youngest was like, Dad, like she's not ready for the change. She doesn't want all her games to go away. I said, they're not going to go away. We're just going to transfer them. She was like not having it. So I didn't transfer from the Switch to the Switch 2 everything. I did put everybody's accounts from the Switch to the Switch 2. That worked fine. And I moved over individually the games that I wanted to see move over that I'm busy playing over to the Switch 2, and then the cloud saves. But some of the key things that are all of my youngest, my littlest bees, all of their games are still on the Switch with their save files. The Animal Crossing town is still on the Switch, the original Switch, which I'm actually scared to move. Like, what if there's a data corruption mid-flight? Like that's not a save file. That and the Pokemon save file aren't cloud save files. Like, why did Nintendo allow this? Why did they allow some games not to have online saves? So you have to physically move those saves, either physically or they have to transmit over local Wi-Fi to each other. I'm sure it'll work fine, but I haven't been enthusiastic about starting it. I've read a couple of people that are like, yeah, I lost the whole town. Like, if I lost 5 years of Animal Crossing town experience, I think I would have a riot on my hands. No thanks. Yeah. Switch 2. I recommend it. if you can find one, and I think you can. It hadn't been that hard to find them, apparently. All right, let's talk about like movie Monday for a minute. Really movie Tuesday. Because it's summertime and it's blockbuster movie time. The movie summer has been ripping already. And I know this is a video game podcast, but people that like video games are humans that like movies sometimes. So I hope it's okay if I talk about movies for a minute. And there's not supposedly going to be a ton of new games announced. Like, I don't see a ton of new games coming out aside from the Switch 2 over the summer. So it's a great time for movies. I did subscribe for the first time ever. Fandango got me. They got me to sign up for their $10 a month Fandango Moonbucks Club, whatever it is. I pay them $10 a month. In turn, they take away all the fees from buying a ticket with them. So you normally pay like $1, $2, $3 a ticket, depending on what part of the country you're in, when you want to reserve a ticket or reserve a seat at a movie. And you would say, well, why on earth are you doing that? Just go buy the tickets. It's like, but I want to know where I'm going to sit. One of the best inventions for movies ever has been reserved seating. And so you want to be able to see it, find the movie spot, reserve it, know where you're going to be, know that you have enough room for all of your people. We don't do guessing anymore. Buy the tickets on the Fandango app. Maybe there's another app, but that's the one I use. So you buy tickets on Fandango, but you end up paying more. So if you take a family of 4 out, you might pay $8 or $10 in fees. But then you know where you're going, and we're not going that often to the movies. It's expensive to go to the movies. Family of 4, you're at $50 to get in, and then $30, $40, $50 worth of snacks because, I don't know, it's part of the movie experience to me, especially for the kids to get some snacks while they're there, popcorn and stuff like that. So, I mean, I remember going to the movies when I was a kid. It was always a big deal, and I never forgot what it felt like to go see Dick Tracy in the movie theater or The Lion King. You know, it's like those were some like awesome events. So I want to take my kids to go see movies when I can. And there's so many movies coming out this summer that I paid. I paid for it. I paid for the Fandango subscription. So when you pay them $10 a month. There's no promo code coming for this, by the way. They're not a sponsor of the Andy B Show yet. Call me. Like, let's talk. Pay $10 a month. You get a $10 credit to spend on a movie. Like, they got you. You put $10 in the machine, we're going to give you a $10 credit back out. And when you buy tickets, we're not going to charge you fees. I'm like, how stupid would I have to be not to do this if I plan to see a lot of movies, right? Like, what's the downside? I couldn't find one. And they're not going to charge you the fees on the tickets. So if I take a family of 4 to go see a movie and it's $10 a ticket, that's on the cheapest, like, normal matinee show day you could find. Usually it's more. But let's say it's for easy math, $10 a ticket plus $2 of fees. That's $8 of fees that I no longer pay. And I got a $10 promo. So instead of being at like $48, I'm at like $30 and I put in $10. So I'm kind of ahead of the game, whatever. Fine. Every time you buy 4 tickets, you get another $5 movie coupon. So the next time you go see another movie that month. All right. Here's the kicker that made it even better. My local theater decided that during the summer on Tuesdays, it's $5 Tuesdays. So now I took the whole family to go see Lilo and Stitch last week on Tuesday after work for $20 with no fees and a $10 coupon. So for $10 plus tax, I took the whole family to go see Lilo and Stitch. Now I still spent $30 on snacks. So it was still $40. It's not free. But it was a great experience. You know, we had a lot of fun. Lilo and Stitch was great. This last Tuesday, I went and saw Ballerina, the John Wick movie spinoff, by myself because my kids were home with my wife. And I sent the text out to the fellas. I was like, guys, you want to go see Ana de Armas, like, fight people a lot? And they were all busy. So I went by myself for $5. I had a $5 coupon. I paid 44 cents to go see John Wick show up in that movie a couple of times. It was great. If you liked John Wick and you enjoyed John Wick, I think you will like Ballerina. It's kind of set right at the timeline of the first John Wick movie. Like you actually see a scene from the first John Wick movie just from her perspective. And then she's training, and then the fights, especially with Ballerina, you go like, okay, she's not John Wick. John Wick's older. But when he fights big muscly dudes, he gets his butt whooped, right? And it's like, okay, well, isn't she going to get her butt whooped all the time? Or are we going to go like, oh no, she's like magically a superpower because she's the hero, right? Is she just going to overcome with movie magic, plot armor, these huge fights? But they did a really solid job, I think, of in John Wick fighting universe rules. Of making it pretty realistic. So when she fought big tough people, she was not winning. She had to pull out the stops. And they had a scene early on where she's constantly losing in training and sparring to a bigger guy. And the trainer's like, cheat, make your own rules. Like, do it your way. Don't follow the rules. Like there are no rules when you're fighting somebody. And so she's constantly like breaking the rules and like finding some way to like not try and just go like, hey, I'm a smaller woman fighting this big dude. And they did that a lot. They put her up against that a lot. And they did it in a way that was really satisfying. So I think Ballerina, a pretty good movie. Yeah. A movie that's not out yet, but they plan to go see is the new F1 movie, the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. I'm not super into F1, but a lot of people that I work with and I'm around are really, really. I think if you're into F1, it's like 1 to 0. It's like binary. You're either not or you're like, you were into it. People I know are into it, but the movie looks good. But they released, it's the first time I've ever seen this. Maybe it's existed before, but I've never seen it. A haptic trailer. So you can go to Apple TV, the TV app on your phone, if you have a modern iPhone, and watch the haptic trailer. And if you've played video games for a while, and this is a video game podcast, the NDB show, you know that they will put haptics in some of these cutscenes in video games. And so it's just normal, right? It's like, hey, I'm playing Kratos, the god of war. He got smacked around and I felt it in my controller. But they did it with the haptics in the iPhone and then set it to the movie trailer. And it's the first time I've ever seen it. I was like, oh man, I think I only want movie trailers that are, kind of actiony to have this. It's really cool. So if you have a modern iPhone, go check out the haptic F1 movie trailer. There's another speaking of trailers, it wasn't a haptic trailer. There's another Superman trailer out where Superman like right hooks this dude and then his teeth get knocked out and then they bounce off of the camera lens. James Gunn, like I want to believe, but you can't knock teeth off of the camera. Like what kind of immersion breaking like shot is that? What are we doing? I'm going to go see it probably multiple times, especially with this Fandango subscription. You can bet that I'm going to go see like every big movie that comes out this summer. Last one that's coming up that just released this week, which is How to Train Your Dragon. Definitely going to go on Tuesdays, take the kiddos and try and go see it for like $10. We'll see what kind of min-maxing I can do. So a lot of movies out there. You watching any this summer? Let me know. There's a lot. I don't think it ends till like August. Like it's a big run. I'm just going to subscribe to Fandango the whole time. And then when the movies slow down, I'll probably unsubscribe. Okay. Get close to the end of the show, but I just wanted to share something useful with you. So we talked a lot about backlogs in the last few episodes. I saw somebody on Threads just a little while ago, like they're like, oh my God, I got so many games in my backlog. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just focus. Maybe I'll make a plan. Maybe I'll really try and figure out this backlog. Gamers need to understand something called the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy in business is that when we invest a ton of money into an effort, new project, product, marketing plan, customer group, whatever it might be, you invest a ton of money, maybe you're building a factory, but things aren't going well. And they go, well, we've already invested or sunk the cost into this project, this effort. We've already invested so much, we can't just let that go to waste. And so they invest more into the money pit of whatever this project is. It's definitely not going to work out. And they keep investing into it, which makes the problem worse. And so the sunk cost fallacy says that at any moment you can kind of look up and go, wait a minute, what am I doing? If I didn't have this investment that I already made and I was starting today, would I make the same investment now? And so you have to kind of take yourself out of the situation and look at it from a third party, like you're giving a friend advice, and then go like, would I keep doing this? Would I invest money in it now? Just because, assuming I've invested nothing so far. And you make a different decision based on that in a lot of cases. Maybe you make the same decision. Maybe you say, yeah, I would keep investing in that. No, my belief is strong. It's still good. Fine. But if it's like, no, I've already invested too much, it's like the sunk cost fallacy. Actually, if you weren't so invested emotionally and financially into something already, if you wouldn't do it again today, then you shouldn't do it, right? So they call it baselining, where you go like, okay, if I don't think that there's good reasons besides how much money we've sunk into this already, I should stop. And people are fretting about their backlog of games. They're like, oh my God, I bought these games and maybe it was on sale and I never played it. And maybe I should make time for it. And they're feeling this guilt. It's a sunk cost fallacy. You put some real money into it, maybe even some emotion. Maybe even you were like, man, I'm excited about this game. And then something changed in your life and you never got to it. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you got 20 games like that. You know, maybe people got them on sale. Maybe they came free with PlayStation Plus or something. You end up with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 games. People on Humble Bundles and Steam sales, they'll end up with 1,000 games. They're like, oh man, am I ever going to get to that? Am I ever going to read that book I wrote and read a chapter, or a book I bought and read a chapter of and never got back to? I feel guilty. Sunk cost fallacy. Set yourself free. If you wouldn't do it again today, if you wouldn't buy that game again today, if you wouldn't buy that book, I'm not going to name what book it was, but I bought a book on a recommendation. And I read the first chapter and I was like, I'm good. I think I'm all right. I should have returned it, but I didn't. I'm not going to worry about it. It's fine. Let it go. Move on. Don't let it bother you. Don't keep investing into something financially or emotionally that's not going great just because you've already invested some time in it. So that's my something useful segment of the week. Backlog sunk cost fallacy. You need, as a gamer, to learn about the sunk cost fallacy, and now you have. And don't keep investing in it just because you've invested in it. Don't keep worrying about a game that you played 20 minutes of because you played 20 minutes of it. You don't have to go back. You don't owe that game nothing. You just go play whatever you want next. And you can use that in a lot of areas of your life. So thanks for hanging out with me so much. We've covered an incredible amount of stuff. We talked about the Xbox Showcase, the ROG Ally, and whether it's worthwhile. Why would you would have one instead of a Switch? The B+, I'm going to say B+ Xbox Showcase. Pretty good. Bunch of good games. Not bad. Not great. Maybe a B. The Switch 2 experience, and yes, the welcome tour is worth it. Yes, Mario Kart's great. But every game, I think, needs to have a chill out mode. We'll see how many games end up with chill out modes over time. And we talked about Movie Monday, really Movie Tuesday, because it's $5 Tuesdays where I live for movies. So I hope you're having a great summer during your movies, your games. It has been absolutely wonderful hanging out with you. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/the Show. Enter to win this 12-month, 1-year individual online subscription to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. I am giving it away. I do plan to do it about a week from the time this episode launches to somebody that subscribed for free to my Patreon. So please go check it out. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.